90% of the world are idiots. Half of them are morons. We are the 10%. This is a podcast of one, and I'm your host, Spario Shaguenda. Now, for today's topics, I'm going to go over them quickly. Games I'm enjoying this week, as always. How well I'm doing with my diet. Capcom's stupidity. Localization bullshit. Watchables I'm enjoying this week. Dan Harmon's story circle / storytelling in general, and projects I'm working on. Now, you may be wondering about the second to last one, but I'll get to it. It's pretty interesting stuff. Also, going to say this now, it's in the description, but I am going to say this. The reason the chat is off is so I can focus on the topics, because this is really just an upload for me. It's just an easier way to upload this. To stream it is easier, because I don't have to render it and do all this and that. And I could it's just easier somehow. I don't know why, but it just is. So it's not really meant to be a live stream, but it kind of is because that's just how it is. Maybe there's a way to just upload directly as you're doing things, because I don't want to edit this at all. It doesn't need to be edited. Maybe I'll start doing that next week. I have no idea, because I have a lot of editing this week anyway, and I'd have to get it out on Sunday because the day is supposed to be there. But that's besides the case. Maybe I'll have some talk time after, like a chat time afterwards, some other point. But that's about it for this topic. Now I'm going to move on to games I'm enjoying this week. So, as always, I always talk about some games I've been enjoying, and well, since when have I started this week playing? Well, I think I started this week playing nothing because I was editing for Abstract Reviews, which I'll get more into on projects I'm working on. Because I had to get the editing done. I did that. Basically what I did was I'll talk about more projects. So, I just realized I don't need to have the chat open since it's disabled. Okay. So, other than, like, editing, I was mostly playing, what the hell was it? What was I even playing? I think I wasn't really playing that many games this week, but I was playing Lawbreakers since the 9th, which is the day after it came out. I waited a little bit I didn't know it was out yet, and I looked at reviews and stuff, which is good, because reviews got to come out in the time it took for me to realize the game was out. And yeah, I'm saying it's pretty fun. It is not without its problems, though. For example, let me make sure my audio is synced up. Hold on. For example, there are microtransactions in the game, which is probably because it used to be a free-to-play game, and now it's not. Oh, the audio is synced up. It's just not on the delay, so I know it's probably synced up. It was going to start off being a free-to-play game, but it's not anymore. So there are a couple bullshit things, like you can't buy the skins you want with Real or One. You have to wait and hope you get them, and if you don't get them, you have to wait and save up cash, which takes forever to get, which is same as Overwatch, and it's bullshit that we shouldn't have let it fly with Overwatch. We should just not let it fly. We should have boycotted the microtransactions, but people are fucking idiots. So we let it slide with Overwatch, and now every other game is gonna fucking do it. Every multiplayer shooter is gonna have skins that you can unlock only through this and that, and it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit game. But it's pretty fun. The characters look a little bit like the Overwatch characters. My friend was like, "That's Pharah. That's this character. He was like going off on like how all the characters look like Overwatch characters, but they don't play like them. It plays completely differently. I think it's actually a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it. I've personally been playing the Titan because she has a rocket launcher, or he. I think there's a male and a female Titan. Because basically the way it works is there's the law and the breakers. Depending on which team you are, it depends on what character model you use, and you can customize each one with different skins anyway, and keep them and their weapon, but their weapons are the same. So it's basically you're choosing the weapon set, and then the character is chosen by the team. So it's kind of interesting in that respect. The other game I was playing this week, I tried playing the Monster Hunter demo, but I couldn't get very far because it's in Japanese. Since it's not, because you'll see why in a minute. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but it's not coming to the U.S. apparently, which sucks because I wanted to play more of that game. I wanted to get into the series with the newest one, but if I'm going to want to get into the series, which if I like the demo of this, which I'm going to play for tonight's stream, I'm going to have to play the old version, the 3, because that's the only one I have right now. I have it on the 3DS. But like no one's playing 3. That's why I want to get into the newest one, because it's like a multiplayer like team game. My friend has the newest one, I think. Maybe the newest one. I'm not sure what the newest one is. But I'm gonna have to get the 3DS version of the newest 3DS version, and then if they ever ask it for the Switch, transfer my save. Anyway, that's besides the point. I've also been playing a lot of Splatoon. I was on the app on my phone, the what's it called, the Splatnet, and I seen 18K aviators with Inksaber as its main ability, and I instantly made sure I had that ready to buy. So I'm gonna buy it. Hopefully we can play some of that tonight as well. Hold on a second. Oh god, my allergies are killing me right now. But yeah, we're gonna play some Splatoon. So that's pretty much it. I've been playing Splatoon. I haven't been playing it much because Lawbreakers was pretty fun. Oh, there was like another game I was playing though. I really don't know what it is. I don't know. I booted up Dota 2 today and I didn't get very far in it. I was trying to learn it, but it's very complicated, man. It's just so complicated. I'd like to play it just because there's Rick and Morty in it, and you could have Rick and Morty be the announcers, and Rick says like all these funny lines. Like it's so funny. It's like the coolest like announcer back, and they have it for TF2. Like someone modded those sounds from Dota 2 into TF2, but it's not the same. It's not the same. That's pretty much it for the games I'm enjoying this week. Now we're gonna move on to topic number 2. How well I'm doing with my diet, and I'm doing pretty well with it. I'm losing a good amount of weight. I haven't lost that much this week, which is not good because I'm trying to get down to 225 at least for Comic-Con, and before Comic-Con, I have to be that weight so I can order my costume in the right size. So I have to order the costume when I get to that weight, and hopefully I get to that weight early September. I hope so. I've been losing a lot of weight, so hopefully I can get down there. I started out at 250, so I'm trying to lose 25 pounds in like a month, pretty much. A month, maybe a month and a half if I really have to wait. But I don't want to wait that long to get a costume because I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm getting it from Zentai Zone, and it's going to take a little while to get here. So I want to make sure it's here for October 6th, 8th, actually. So that's why that's one reason I'm doing the diet, because I want to, because I wanted to get healthy, and the reason I'm doing it so vigorously is because I know I have to lose all that weight soon. Like, so, you know, that's interesting. But I've been exercising as well. We did a lot of cool exercises in my karate class sometimes, and we did some cool stuff. Like, I don't want to be like getting into this too much, but I don't know. I mean, so we did this one exercise where we had these big heavy ropes and we were like swinging them like that. It's pretty fun. Yeah, so that's one cool thing we do. Like, so we do a lot of exercises like that are more engaging and interesting. Let's see, is there an actual viewer count? Okay, there isn't. Okay, it doesn't matter if anyone sees this because people usually watch this afterwards. Anyway, that's pretty much it with the diet. So now I'm going to move on to my third topic for today. Capcom's stupidity. Localization bullshit. So, Capcom is a company that I really enjoy some of their games. I like, the two series I really like right now are Ace Attorney, and I wanted to get into Monster Hunter. I hear this is a really good series. I like their fighting games, obviously. Their fighting games always come over here, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's the three games I like. The Marvel vs. Capcoms and the Street Fighters. Those I like, so I guess that's all one. And then Monster Hunter is a new addition to this. I played it a long time ago. I really liked it, but I want to get back into it. And Ace Attorney is my favorite game series. My favorite game in general is Ace Attorney 2. I spoiled that for I'm saving that more about that topic for another day when I don't have another topic. So I guess we can say for a rainy day. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I just think how weird it is. I'm just staring at myself talking, like, and moving, and it's weird. It's like looking in the mirror and talking. Anyway, so Capcom stupidity. They are very well known for not localizing their more Japanese games, which would be Monster Hunter and Ace Attorney, in my experience. There are 3 Ace Attorney games that have not come out in the U.S. There's 3 Ace Attorney games, full games, that are fully great. I've played one of them because some graciously amazing fan, I don't even think that's supposed to be how I was supposed to say that, but whatever. One really amazing fan, set of fans, translated Ace Attorney Investigations 2, which is known as Prosecutor's Path, as the translation team calls it. And I've been playing that on stream. I should probably be playing that tonight, now that I think about it. But I'm not going to because I already set up the Switch and stuff, and that took a lot of effort to get it to work, except not. I just plugged it in and it worked, so I'm very happy. If it doesn't work, we'll go with Ace Attorney. So how about that? Yeah. But that's one game they didn't localize. Then there's DGS 1 and DGS 2. DGS 2 isn't out yet, so we don't know if it's ever going to come, but it might. It could. If it does, I'll be very happy, because I really like the setting. It's set in like an old, like in the 1920s, I think it is, or maybe the early 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, or that's what I think it is about. That's my estimation based on what I've read and remembered. So that was the first game. Never came out in America or anywhere. It never got localized. And Capcom didn't do it for a stupid reason. Or I think there's a good I'll give them this. For the first Great Ace Attorney game, which is what they're translating it as, most fans call it. Sherlock Holmes is the main character in the game, and the rights of Sherlock Holmes in the U.S. is really confusing, and even in Europe and everywhere else. But in Japan, it's not. It's like a free. It's like a what do they call it? Those characters, like characters. What do they call it? Public use or whatever. So it's public use in Japan, so they can make a game with Sherlock Holmes, but they can't do it in the U.S. I think that's the main problem. But if they can get the rights to him, if they could have, if that wasn't the issue, then they're stupid. Because the reason people are thinking it is because in the game, there's like Japanese racism, like racism towards Japanese people, because that's what happened during the time. The main character is Phoenix Wright from Japan. He comes from Japan to Europe. And in the game, it's like all about his struggle facing the racism that he faces there as an attorney. And how people are like, oh, you're not going to be good as an attorney, you're Japanese, and shit like that. And that's the whole struggle of the game, which is a great idea. It's kind of nice. I think it's a really good storytelling thing. But they're not bringing it over because people might think that it's an anti-Japanese game, because they know that people are stupid. Mostly social justice warriors, and they're basically afraid of them ripping the game to shreds and basically not buying the game, which is stupid because they wouldn't have bought it in the first place. I guarantee you not a single social justice warrior even knows what Ace Attorney is. Maybe not. Maybe a couple of them do, but I doubt it. I really doubt a lot of them know what it is, because they're idiots. They're just idiots, and you have to be smart to play Ace Attorney, so doesn't matter. They weren't going to buy the game in the first place. There's people that they're afraid of getting criticism from. Because it's not, actually, because they made it. It's a Japanese game. I don't know why a Japanese game would be anti-Japanese. That would be the stupidest thing. Anyone who thinks that is stupid. I hope that's not the reason. I hope it's just the Sherlock Holmes copyright issue. Anyway, the third game they haven't released is, they call it Daigakuten Saiban 2 in Japan. And they call the fourth one Daigakuten Saiban. My Japanese isn't perfect. I tried studying it for a while, and then I failed because it's really hard to learn. I might try to do it one day in the future if I ever get smarter or better at like learning, because it would be an interesting thing to know. I don't know. I mean, the only reason I don't want it is because people are like, "Oh, you're a weeb," you know. But it's interesting. It's just learning another language. If I was to learn any other language, people would probably be like, "That's cool. That's cool and unique." Think about it. If I learn Japanese, I don't have to worry about this localization bullshit. I could eliminate it. That's kind of the reason I wanted to. I think that was when the game first was announced. No, it was when no, never mind. What am I thinking? The game, I know exactly when the localization of Ace Attorney 2 is coming out. I don't know why I wanted to learn Japanese. I think it was like a game that was coming out that wasn't coming out in the US. Maybe it was Daigakuten Saiban 1. I don't know. I don't think it came out till no, it came out in 2015. I may have been learning Japanese in 2015. I don't know. Anyway. I actually was going to be a part of. I auditioned actually for the localization of Investigations 2. I was going to be the voice of Edgeworth's dad, who's in the game. I was going to be his objection and hold it, which would have been cool. I think I did a pretty good job, but I guess I don't have the greatest British accent, so I guess that's why I didn't get the part. Also, my audio quality I recorded on an iPhone. I don't have it was like years ago. I was in middle school at the time, so definitely wasn't getting it. Anyway, but the real main issue, what really ticked me off to put this on a list, is because I saw that there was a demo for Monster Hunter XX in Japan. I was like, oh, let me try this out. I want to try it out, so when it comes out in the US, I know if I want it or not. And then I looked it up to see when it was coming out in the US, and I found out it wasn't, because Capcom said the game doesn't have enough sales in the US. That's bullshit. They're bringing Worlds to the US, so why wouldn't they bring this one? It's on the Switch, the more higher selling, like one of the highest, a new console that's just a good console. It's a perfect game for the Switch. It was perfect for the 3DS because you could go and say, hey, look, there's someone playing Monster Hunter, I want to join up. And it's like a social game. But no, you're going to put it on the console. The next one's coming out on the console. That's bullshit. Anyway, that was basically all I had to say about that. I think Capcom's a stupid company sometimes, and they do a lot of bullshit. They do a lot of microtransactions in some games, I think. I think it was DLC. No, they did DLC a lot, so that's pretty much it for now. Now I got to talk about watchables I'm enjoying this week. But the only thing I really watched this week, out of anything, I was watching Channel Frederator's Cartoon Conspiracy series. I watched a bunch of episodes on cartoons I like, and like shows I like, I guess. Like they had a couple, and I was watching a lot of Rick and Morty series because I'm really into Rick and Morty right now because it's like in its prime right now. It's like coming out season 3, and it's actually really cool stuff. And I like there's some cool theories and stuff. So I was watching. Well, I watched a couple ones on SpongeBob. I think those were pretty cool. I think that's the only two cartoons I watched on their channel, but it's just a pretty good series. I recommend checking it out if you're interested in like cartoons and stuff. That's pretty much all I watched this week. What other things did I do this week? Pretty much nothing other than that. So now we're going to move on to my favorite topic of the week. Dan Harmon's story circle / storytelling in general. So if you don't know who Dan Harmon is, he's the guy who made Rick. He's one of the co-creators of Rick and Morty, and I think he's the creator of Community, and he also co-founded Channel 101, which is like YouTube kind of thing, or it's like content creation like YouTube, but it's for cartoons, and it's for really absurd cartoons. It's where Rick and Morty basically started out. I think, as far as I remember, basically there was this pilot for Rick and Morty, or not pilot. There was this really weird and wacky Back to the Future parody called Doc and Marty, and made by Justin Roiland, the main creator of the voice of Rick and Morty, and also co-creator of it. So him and Harmon made the show because like it was on one of Harmon's like projects, and it's a weird story. I'd recommend looking into it. I wouldn't recommend exactly watching Doc and Marty because it's really weird. It gets pretty sexual and pretty disturbing. There's two of them, and it's really weird, and I regret watching it because it was pretty fucked up. Yeah. But it has the voice of Rick and Morty, and a lot of cartoons that Roiland made had like a Rick-like character in them, and he made them on Channel 101. Anyway, so that's the Rick and Morty. So Dan Harmon makes some pretty good shows. I've heard the good things about Community, and Rick and Morty is one of my favorite TV shows, if not my favorite TV show. And he wrote this tutorial section on like writing stories, and I read it up on their wiki page for Channel 101. And it's a really interesting read. He talks about like different philosophies of life and how storytelling is a reflection of life and how there's a circle and subconscious and unconscious and stuff like that. And it's really interesting. So basically his circle, let me see. Oh, it's all the way over there. Shit. Let me just see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me pull up the circle. I want to tell you basically the gist of the circle. And why I've been reading it as well is also because I've been I just found it. I was watching a video on Rick and Morty, and they talked about the circle. And I'm like, wait, that sounds like a pretty cool thing to look into. So I looked into it, and it's pretty cool. Let's see. So basically, the circle has 8 parts, and it's how the story. It starts at the beginning of the story and ends at the end of the story. So it goes like this: 1, a character is in a zone of comfort. 2, but they want something. 3, they enter an unfamiliar situation. 4, adapt to it. 5, get what they wanted. 6, pay a heavy price for it. 7, they return to their familiar situation. 8, having changed. And that's basically the basics of his circle. So it's like a circle. You draw a circle and you divide it into those 8 sections, and you write those things around the circle. And a story is supposed to start at one and end at the other. So you start with a zone of comfort, and then you go into they want something and all that. But it's not an end all. It's just one way to write a story, I think. I think it's a good guide for beginners because, oh my god, my allergies. I like it because it just gives us, I looked at my show that I've written, Abstract Reviews, and it really does follow this structure, which is amazing because I haven't heard of it up until after I wrote episode 4. Meaning I haven't written an episode at all since I learned about this, and I technically already have been implementing it. Only the things I do differently is there's a cold open and an end credit scene, which basically are separated from the story, basically. I think the cold open is a setup to the story for, like, a villain or something like that. Or just a funny scene that sets up the story. And the end credits is just a joke scene. I guess that's their zone of, returning to the zone of comfort. But the thing about serialized TV, he says that there's a slight difference in the circle. The end, instead of having changed, having returned to normal, So you change everything back to normal because it's a TV show and you have to tune in the next day. Like, for example, in a sitcom like Seinfeld, at the end of the episode, everything's back to normal. Like, the characters never lose anything or gain anything. They always stay where they are. Except sometimes they do change over time. Like in some seasons, George will have one job and then another season he'll have another. And stuff like that. But the episodes circle around, and when they end in the circle, the characters don't change, because if they change, then you won't tune in. They won't be able to do anything in the next episode. Or if they change better enough. Unless you're doing something that's going forward as much as possible and has an end point in mind, and you're trying to make a movie story kind of thing. But it's really cool because like, I think about it in a way where if you have to deviate from it, do so. If you have another idea, do so. And it's not strictly you have to follow the circle. You can have sub-circles inside, like, each step. Like, have a step that goes through some circles, or have it go through half the circle, and you can really experiment with it. It's not like a guide. It's more of an idea forming guide. It's like a way to form your idea on how you want the story to go. And I think it's a pretty cool tool for anyone who wants to become a writer. I'd recommend just looking up Dan Harmon. There's a website someone made called, just look up Dan Harmon's Story Circle, and you'll find, and there should be a website by, I don't know how to fucking say that. Anyway, I'll just look up Dan Harmon's Story Circle. It's pretty interesting. I'd recommend reading it if you're an inspiring writer like I am. Yeah. And now I'm going to move on to projects I'm working on. So, abstract reviews. It's almost done. Second draft, baby. That's what we're on. We're on the second draft. I'm going to make the second draft over the course of this week. I have only a page of notes to do. And when that's over with, if there's any small, minute things, there shouldn't be. But if there are, my friend Greg's going to iron them out. And he's going to come over to my house, sit on my computer, and edit as best he can. And he might do the face track. I'm not sure. We're not sure about that yet. But the face track of Pineapple, which is the last time we're going to have to worry about this, hopefully, because I have a mask for him that fits over my face in the live action segments. I mean, there's no effects. So the only effects will be for guns and other stuff, which wouldn't be every single shot that Pineapple is in. So it's much easier to work with. Yeah, but it's pretty much done. I just have a few more things to change about it, and it should be done within the week. And that's basically that. But I figured out a way to work on it, where basically I use a schedule where I work like a work day. Like I said, from 10 to 6, I'll work on it. And it fluctuates. Maybe if I have to go to dinner at 5 or 4, it doesn't matter. But I'd like to personally make sure that I get done it. A 6-hour work day, and with 8 hours total, with 2 breaks in between, 1 for lunch and 1 for free time, so I don't have to overwhelm myself. So it's a 1-hour break for lunch, 1-hour break for free time, or game time. Like I'll just play a game or something. Sorry for scratching my nose so much; it really itches. Oh God. But yeah, that's how I've been working on abstract reviews. I think that's going to be how I'm going to work on it in the future. So I always set so that I get it done on time, and hopefully we can get it done every 2 months and start really rolling with the show. Next episode should be Halloween based, hopefully. Because I have 2 months and 2 months to Halloween, 2 months to October, so the next episode might be Halloween based. It might not be. We might just skip Halloween altogether. But I'd really like to do something funny for Halloween. I don't know what costume I could have that's funny. I mean, last year I did Space Dandy, and I think I might do Spider-Man this year because that's what I'm doing for Comic-Con. And so I just wear whatever the latest con I had been going to. I'll wear that costume. So I guess I'll just be Spider-Man. I'll be like making Spider-Man-esque riffs, the whole thing. So we'd have to review some like bad Spider-Man movie then. See, I'd rather wait until like later to get like a Spider-Man thing going, because we could have like a character like actual pretend Spider-Man come on the show, like how the Angry Video Game Nerd had Spider-Man appear in the Spider-Man episode when he reviewed all the Spider-Man games. I think that was pretty funny. But the only thing is, it doesn't make sense. How would Spider-Man be in my world? Maybe it's a cosplayer of Spider-Man. At the end of the episode, it's like, all right, so see you later. You're gonna swing out of here, right? It's like, yeah, swing out of here. Yeah, totally. And he's like, all right, so do it. Yeah, I'm like, are you the real Spider-Man? It's something like that, So it's just a cosplayer. I think that'd be funny. So I don't want to like wear a Spider-Man costume and then like ruin the joke, I guess. I don't know. For later, if we ever review a Spider-Man themed, or we could just review Spider-Man, like the Amazing Spider-Man, because that movie sucked completely, and that was just not good at all. The suit was pretty cool though. I like the suit. That's pretty comic accurate. But yeah, other projects I'm working on. I decided to step down my game in terms of how complex I'm going to make a comic. I'm going to make it in the abstract syntax universe, which is where abstract reviews takes place, and then all this crazy magical stuff kind of happens. It's not magical because it's technically scientific because it's code based. It's a world of code anyway. So it's going to be about regular people in a regular kind of setting, ironically called irregular. So the Comic Irregular is basically about these three guys. One of them is the owner of a comic shop / diner called Irregular, named Gary Cook. Then there's Reggie Ractor. I forgot his last name for a second. Reggie Ractor. He's like he's a regular at the comic shop, along with his friend Larry Easley, and those two basically come in. It's about them, and it's like a Seinfeld situation, you know, like where they go to a diner and they go through their life and shit. And it's just about this really unique idea, like a comic diner shop, a comic shop diner. You know, it's a pretty interesting idea. I don't know how I came up with that. I just was like, wait a minute. Well, shouldn't they be? I think it would be cool if they were like a regular at a comic shop. But I'm like, but I don't want to lose the diner dynamic. I'm like, fuck it, combine the two. And it was pretty interesting. I did also come up with an idea of wanting to make a Rick and Morty fan comic, because I think that would get me a little bit of recognition. Holy shit. I think that would be pretty cool to like get my name out there, because people would go, oh shit, it's Rick and Morty. It's like Rick and Morty. I want to check this guy's work out. I'm not trying to say like I want fame and fortune, but I think it would help me like get like recognition. I want to get recognized. I want my comics to be liked by people. You know, I want people to enjoy it, and the only way that's going to happen is if people know who I am. And I think that might be an easy way to do it, but the only idea I came up with is that Rick finds out that he's in a fan comic, and he goes after me, but I don't know how long I can keep that going. Because the idea I had was he would go through different fictional worlds until he found me, the writer of the comic, the fan comic, and he's like, I want to kill this guy, so he stops writing the comic, and I can go back to the regular show or whatever, I don't know. Something like that, but that's stupid, so. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I might somehow do that. I might not. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it for me on this topic. That's pretty much all I have worked on, all the projects I'm working on. Can't think of words right now. So we're going to move on to games in a minute. I'm going to stop this stream and go up on Twitch, because I just realized, am I technically breaking the embargo by streaming on YouTube? I think it's only when you stream on Twitch. If you're streaming on Twitch, you have to do that way. Because I'm allowed to upload on YouTube. So this is basically what that is. If that's breaking the rules, I'll just make a video and edit it together, or just upload it and render it and all that shit. So just make a local recording and upload it. So that's about it. I'll see you guys in a bit. If anyone wants to check out the thing, if anyone's even watching, I don't think anyone is. But this is just for the stream kind of stuff. So that'll be it for this podcast. See you guys next week for another podcast. Where we're going to talk about the same topics, except we're going to interchange some new stuff in there. Doesn't make much sense. Goodbye.